Hey, what's up people? Straight Shootin LJA here. And you know what? Welcome to another episode of the Straight Shootin View. Now, I'll get to something somewhat short, but something that's quite important to me. Now, number one, obviously, there's Liverpool Football Club. Very important to me. Recent off-the-pitch media has not been great about us, but separating that, I'm going to talk about on the pitch. Now, this is a day after the MerseysideDerby, which of course ended 2-2. There was questionable decisions all around. But what I do want to focus on is not VAR. It is player safety. Now, those of you who saw the MerseysideDerby, or at least have seen the highlights of it, will have seen the absolutely atrocious tackle from a goalkeeper who I think is nothing more than a jumped up Joe Hart, and that is Jordan Pickford. Now, I don't give a damn if he's England's number one. I don't even think he's England's best goalkeeper. Dean Henderson, Nick Pope, I think are far better keepers all round. But leaving that aside, the tackle from him on Virgil Van Dijk, and then later on Richarlison's tackle on Thiago, it was one of them ones where at least the latter was punished with a red, but Jordan Pickford's one, and it basically shows a loophole in the rules, but Jordan Pickford's one was not punished. Now, as it's being reported tonight and by the club that there's no specific time frame for Virgil van Dijk's return, and that he's had to have knee surgery on an ACL injury. So it shows you how. And if you've seen it live, if you've seen like images of it, you'll see how awful the tackle actually was. And yeah, usually a still frame doesn't tell the story, but you see it in live action and it actually looks even worse. Now, the reason why I mention this is because, as I said, it's player safety. Going into tackles and lunging in like that, even if the offside flag is up, which it was on Virgil van Dijk, it's a case of that tackle still needs to be punished, in my opinion. Because it frustrates me that someone can get away with a tackle like that, and because the offside flag went up before the tackle happened, the tackle is basically stricken from the record. But the fact that Van Dijk has had to have knee surgery and could potentially be out for the rest of the season, and also could have been robbed of the chance to captain his country at the already delayed and rescheduled European Championships, Euro 2021, aka the Travelling Roadshow as we called it on Pitch Talk when it was announced that it was going to be taking place in different areas. Then it's one of them ones where it's like, not only have we got to look at the rules, but you've got to look at player welfare and also player conduct, because we can't have players going around putting in them tackles. As said, the Richarlison one is different because that actually was punished. But for me, yes, there is obviously a stipulation in the rules called violent conduct, straight red card, 3-match ban. Fine. But Thiago and Van Dijk could have ended up with broken legs. And especially in Van Dijk's case, where because of the offside flag, and yes, referees aren't supposed to blow up until that passage of play is over, but the referee can, or at least should be able to, go back, look at that tackle and say, you know what, I don't care if the offside flag has gone up or not. That was a disgraceful challenge. Boom, you're off. You're off. This should be one. It should be common sense, to be perfectly frank, because you can't deliberately be going around injuring people, because you're not only a hazard to yourself, you then are a hazard to others, and that's not fair. Like you look at careers. Certain careers have ended in the blink of an eye. Sometimes because of bad tackles, sometimes just pure bad luck. I mean, you look at let's take a few examples of careers that have just been ended in an instant. Where you look at Dean Ashton on England duty. It was one of them ones. Career ended in an instant, knee gone. Jesper Blomqvist, same thing. Same thing where his career was ended basically in an instant. You have Martin Johnson on Eduardo. You had that years ago when Johnson was at Blackburn. Not Blackburn, Birmingham. When he snapped Eduardo's leg. I mean, it's one of them was Djibril Cissé just before the World Cup, I think in 06. Where like final warm-up game, boom, bad tackle, he's out for a year because of a bad tackle. And the same thing happened to Cissé at Blackburn as well. So you look at that and you think to yourself, like, you can't have this happening, let alone continually happening. And I think it was Guardiola who we actually discussed on a Pitch Talk show a while back when he was manager of Barcelona about there needs to be rules to basically protect the skillful players. I think it's one of them ones where you need to have those rules protecting everybody. Because as I said, you can't be going in putting these reckless challenges in. And I think because someone like a Jordan Pickford got away with it, he's gonna keep doing that. Forget the fact, for me, it's a case of forget the fact that it was a derby match and it's going to be full-blooded. The fact is, I love them sort of blood and thunder games. I mean, at our level in the Southern Amateur League for Ibis Eagles, when I saw Carl Shorten were in our league, it was like, I was looking so forward to playing that game. I ended up missing the game. But it's one of them ones where it's like, because I love those physical games. Most other people shirk from it, but even with the knee injuries that I've had, I still love a physical contest because I just enjoy that. But there's a level that you don't cross over. You have to rein it in. You can't be running around recklessly because, as I said, you're putting other people's livelihoods in jeopardy. And a footballer's career is finite enough as it is. And it's one of them where it's like, player safety, you have to bear that in mind. And the powers that be, they could quite easily, in my opinion, go back and do a retrospective punishment for that. Because there's retrospective punishments for diving. Again, as we mentioned on a Pitch Talk show years ago, where it's like there's retrospective punishments for diving. There should also be that for bad tackles like the Jordan Pickford one, aka the jumped up Joe Hart on Virgil Van Dijk. There should be, because as I said, if someone feels like they can get away with something and they've gotten away with it once, twice, 3 times, there was actually one last season, the 2019-18 season, sorry, the 2019-20 season, last season, there was one with Jordan Pickford doing very similar on Dele Alli. So there's a track record there. Like, once you could chalk up to an accident, twice, nah. This dude needs to go back to the drawing board and be taught tackling, because you can't be doing that. He could have snapped Dele Alli's leg last season. He could have snapped Van Dijk's leg this time. The next person he tackles like that, Jordan Pickford probably will snap their leg. And I said, I'm not like, put the result aside. To be perfectly frank, put the result aside, and I said, I'm not even going to drill into VAR here. I'll leave that to the G-Man. His vlog coming out soon. But it's a case of, it's player safety and player welfare has to be at the top of the list here. And Everton fans saying, oh yeah, well in, yeah. So, no, bro. Like, that could literally end someone's career. Like what Roy Keane tried to do years ago on Alf-Inge Haaland. And it's like, no, you can't have people going around doing that. If I said, there should be retrospective punishment for these awful tackles. Because, yeah, I mean, even as I said earlier, yes, the tackle was after the offside flag had been put up, but you didn't know that initially. So if you can go back and say, oh, well, he was offside before the tackle was made, then you can look at the tackle and be like, well, we didn't know that at the time, so boom, red card. I said I would do it retrospectively and give Pickford a 3-match ban, straight up, because he needs to learn you can't tackle like that. And I said it's not the first time he's done it. So it's like, the first time you can get away with plausible deniability, the second time you can't. I said, look at Dele Alli last season, nearly had his leg snapped by Jordan Pickford as well. So, like, I just look at it as the powers that be need to get their fingers out in this. And again, I'm not just saying this because I've been a Liverpool supporter for 26 years. Not saying it even because of that. I mean, I said I'm an amateur league player for Ibis Eagles AFC. And ironically actually, we were playing in a cup game away at Merton, whilst the MerseysideDerby, thank you, whilst the second half of the MerseysideDerby was going on, we kicked off, and there was a tackle right at the end of the match. It was literally the resulting free kick was the last kick of the game, where one of our players was going to break away. We were trailing 3-2. One of our players was about to break away, and I heard a player to the right of me go, "Just foul him." And then all you see is one of their strikers, who was a big lad, by the way. Imagine me, but jacked up and muscly, and you'll get the guy who tackled him. And it's one of them where it's like, he put in a very similar challenge to what Jordan Pickford did on Virgil Van Dijk, except it was him coming from behind, if you'll pardon the pun. But it's one of them where the referee, yes, blew up for a free kick, but no card. And I flagged up to the ref, well, did you not hear him say, "Just foul him"? That's clearly deliberate. And like, if he'd snapped his leg, I said, remember, we're amateur league players. We've all got day jobs. So, like, and even worse during this pandemic, where it's like, people are getting furloughed, people are losing jobs and all that. Don't take someone's livelihood away from them, especially not deliberately. So, yeah, that's my take on it anyway, man. I mean, you can't be doing that. It's not gentlemanly, it's not sporting, but at the end of the day, you don't try and cripple someone or take their livelihood away. It's just like in pro wrestling, like, you trust the other person to be not just skilled enough, especially at pro level. You expect them to be not just skilled enough, but courteous enough to not to try and break your leg or whatever. So the tackle was disgraceful, and as I said, Pickford should get retrospectively banned for it. Because at the end of the day, yeah, some people will say, but Van Dijk was flagged offside, so that passage of play is irrelevant. But the fact that he's going to potentially be out for 6 to 9 months, that's not irrelevant. That's happened. So you can't wipe that. You can't wipe that from history. The fact that the guy might be out for 6 to 9 months. So, yeah, retrospective punishment for bad tackles. What do you think? Comment section is down below. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. We are at Pitch Talk on Twitter. Tweet with us, follow us, see what we're up to. Facebook.com/Pitch Talk. Become a fan, become a friend. Become a member of the group. Let us know your views. Poor tackles, bad tackles, dangerous tackles, violent conduct. Should it be retrospectively punished in the same way that diving is? Let me know. I think so. I think yes. You punish it in the same way as diving, and be able to do it retrospectively as well. Let me know your views. I have been Straight Shootin LJA, and until next time, I will see you later on the Straight Shootin View. Thank you for your time, peeps.